Hello and welcome to Organic Edible Garden. Today our focus is on maintenance of some of the vegetables that we're going to eat in late spring and early summer. We're going to tidy up our rhubarb bed, have a look at our garlic and our broad beans which we've grown from seed, and then have a look at the potatoes that we've grown in bags. When tidying up our rhubarb bed, one of the first things we have to do is remove these seed heads. And if I'd been vigilant, I would have removed them before they even grew up, but I didn't. Now they've died back, they're really easy to take off. You just give them a pull and take them out. Remember, never use a pair of secateurs to chop anything off the rhubarb. It can rot on back to the crown. Now they're also a really good source of carbon, so don't waste this. Throw them back into the compost bin. We want to remove all of these leaves that have been through a hard winter and are not good to eat anymore. So it's any leaf that's touching the ground or any of these older leaves that now just bend rather than snap. They're not going to be good, and all the energy will go to feeding them rather than our new spring growth. What we're trying to do is leave the crown still intact, and with just a few of the new leaves on, just clearing the area around it. This crown, for example, is about 3 to 4 years old. You can see the roots are above the surface now, and the crown is getting quite large. So this is probably its last year in this bed, and then next year I'll separate these crowns and plant them on. Another good reason to remove these leaves is for air movement. Now we can get a fresh breeze coming through here and get them going. But more importantly, when we put our fertiliser around them, it's not going to touch the leaves. Now rhubarb is a really strong feeder, so we want to feed them some sort of animal manure and put some carbon back into the soil. In this case, we're going to use chicken poo. Now with the rhubarb leaves, they're high in oxalic acid, so I wouldn't put them in the worm farm. But if I spread them out over all 4 of the compost bins, it'll dilute it enough and it'll still make good compost. The garlic we planted in late autumn is doing really well. We've given it a good seaweed spray, and we intend to do it again shortly, but we've had so much rain that the ground is quite sodden at the moment. But ideally we'd like to do it every 2nd to 3rd week. The other important thing with your garlic bed is keep it well weeded, as garlic doesn't like to compete with the weeds. Our broad beans are doing really well, but they're growing to a size now we've got to pinch the tips out. If we don't, they'll keep going up and get caught by the wind. So what we'll do is we're just going to pinch any growing tip like this out. And what that will do, it'll make it branch up from the side shoots and we'll get a much stockier plant. Now don't waste these taste great and they're good in a salad or even in a stir fry. The next thing I want to do is turn over my green manure crop. Here we planted oats and at the other end the lupins. They're at a size now I can easily turn them over and they'll compost in about a month's time. Because they're leafy greens, there'll be some nitrogen in this bed and I can plant my summer salad crops like my lettuces and my rockets and spinach. Also, because it's shaded a little bit by a tree in summertime, that's a bonus for things like your lettuces which like to keep out of the heat. All we need to do is just turn the oats over. And a lot of these have already been flattened because our dog Sam thinks there's mice in here and runs up and down. And I prefer to do it over with a fork. It's less damage to the soil structure and it seems to be easier on the back. And if you feel your soil is quite acid, you can add a bit of lime to this. This will help with the breakdown process. But I think this will just be fine as it is. Here are our Manure potatoes that we planted because the ground was too wet, so we put them in bags and they've germinated well. Now it's time to hill them up. So what we can do is we can actually roll up the bag a bit more and add some soil to it. It doesn't matter if you cover the leaves with some of the soil because it'll just shoot through. The Agria potatoes we planted at the same time aren't doing as well as our Māori potatoes because they're suffering with the cooler nights. But in a week or two, I can start hilling them up. Then as they go, I can keep making the bags bigger and bigger until about this height. And that way, we'll get really early potatoes. And just a reminder, if your tomato seedlings are about 5 centimeters tall, it's time to prick them out into pots to grow on.